Good morning and welcome to the Oasis Center for Spiritual Living, where we come together as one, providing spiritual tools for daily living. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Reverend Tucker. I'm the senior minister here at the Oasis. And I have this wonderful team that God just provided me to manage this whole thing that we're doing. So I always like to introduce them. First off is Faith. Faith has been my assistant since the day she was born. Well, you were probably 6 months old before we let you sit up on the podium. Let's put it that way. But you were helping your dad do the sound table at that time, so whatever. But she used to sit on the podium with me when I would do announcements when she was about 6 months old, I guess. And then later she became an usher and would hand out the affirmation cards at the end because we used to do that. And she's been my official assistant now for 5 years almost. I don't even know when you got hired. Was it September or something? No, it was in the summer. It was like June or July. But anyway, yeah, you had gone on vacation or something. And then when you came back, you started working for me. She was 14 when she started working for me. And here she is, 18 and a graduate. She graduated from high school on Wednesday. Yay. Another milestone down. Hopefully by the time you have your college graduation, I'll actually be able to attend. We'll see how that goes with COVID and Lynn's lung transplant, but whatever. All right. So she is behind the scenes and does all the work behind the scenes. And I couldn't do this without her. If you say hi, good morning, hello, however you want to greet us, she's the one that answers you. And so I look back later just to make sure she's got everything handled. Usually she knows me better than I know myself. She just lives like 6 blocks away from me right now. And grew up kind of at my house here and there. So, and she's our singer. And today we are singing Your Wish is My Command by Elaine Silver, Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver.
Have No Fear by Fairy Elaine Silver.
Oh, we're doing Have No Fear. Okay. Oh, gosh, I'm so confused. Either way, that works. Oh, and let's see, what else? That's it. Thank you so much for being here. We love you. All right. And then there's the wise and powerful Oz, my partner in crime.
Gonna mute.
I know, who is my first baby practitioner, meaning he took all of his training with me, except for one class, I think, at Mile High, and became a practitioner in my church, and then became, or our church, it's not my church, it's our church, but and then became our board president and was there for years, and then moved away to Florida, and we lost him as part of our participation for many years. And now, because of this technology, I have him back, and it's so wonderful. Oh my God, it's so wonderful to have you. He is now in Wisconsin. They make this trek from Florida to Wisconsin at the beginning of summer, which I don't blame you. Florida in the summer has got to be hot. And then he goes back, at the end of like September, October. But right now he's in Wisconsin, and we're glad that he's here. He made the trek. When did you get in? Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday.
Actually, on Friday.
On Friday. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You've had a little bit of time to adjust. But Oz is available. He does our pray in and our pray out, and he's available at the end for our 1-minute miracle, which I'll talk about later. So thank you for being here, Oz. We love you so much. Thank you. All right. And today's topic is don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle. And let's see, I like to introduce our adjunct music team. They don't appear in our service, but they provide us with song files so that we can do karaoke songs for you. And that is Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver, whose music we're going to be featuring today, and Karen Drucker. So we really like to acknowledge them because they are part of our team, whether they show up on screen or not. And then let's see, say hi, hello, good morning, however you would like to greet us, because in a facility, I can see, hi, Cindy, thank you. In a facility, I can look out and see who's here, but I don't have that option with this. So I appreciate letting me know who's here. And if you'd like to do a watch party, there is a watch party button. Oz does one every Sunday. You invite your friends. That's a great way for them to know what kind of messages they will receive. And it allows them the opportunity to ask you questions. and you can't bother anybody because it's all private on that side. So anyway, I think it's a great idea. Click on that watch party button and invite all your friends. I would like to invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable. Allow the service to uplift and inspire you as we move into our centering song.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
The presence of God right here, right now. For God is ever present. God is eternal. God is infinite. God is in all things. God is existing as all things. And God is moving the stars all at once. And at the same time, moving the atoms and moving the cells in our body. It is all one expression of this one infinite source. It is who and what we are right here, right now. And I know that this blessing extends into our lives through the service. And I know that the message touches hearts and lives, and that we move forward into the service and into the week, being touched and blessed and aware of the presence of God in each and every moment. And I give thanks that this is so, and I let it be, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. All right. So this next song is really, it's from Reverend Ferry Elaine Silver, and it really is what our philosophy is all about. We are all one. So if you know the words, sing it loud and sing it proud, because you can't bother anybody. And if you don't know the words, learn it, because it's a really good way to remind yourself that you are connected to all of life.
We are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. I hear it and know it, my being. Spirit is all I am seeing. For God is all there is. Grateful am I to be living, open to what I have seen, honoring what I've been given, sharing now what I believe. I remember the oneness around me. I surrender to infinite light, knowing the love that's surrounding me is within me by day and night. And we are all one. We are all one. We are all one in it. Yes, we are all
if you're here, please say hi, hello, good morning, however you'd like to greet us. If you're viewing this later, just say hello. Just let us know who stopped by. It's always helpful for me to know who's watching. And if you like something that you hear, whether it's something I say or something that Faith sings or something that Oz prays, by all means, use that like button, because it really helps us to see what's working. And if you love something that you hear, please send us hearts. We love to have hearts. We love to get love. And if something strikes you as very powerful, please do me a favor and use the wow button. That feedback helps me be a better minister. So I really appreciate the feedback. All of us do. All right. Let's see. Where are we? We are at that point right now where I introduce Faith again. And she is performing Have No Fear by Elaine Silver.
Have no fear, God is near. God is everywhere. God's right. God is mine. God's in me. God is everywhere. God's with. Sometimes I'm alone and I think I'm sad. Sometimes I'm deep inside, but I think again and I want to feel me. I'm not alone, feeling spirits press everywhere in home, and I'm angels fly. All things one, every place says, heaven. Have no fear, God is here. God is everywhere in God's way. God no fear, God is here. God is everywhere in God's way.
I couldn't hear the music, so I didn't know when it stopped.
Did it? Dang it. I thought I
It would
had
go
a
in and out, you know. Again, technical issues. Gush, gush, you know. Smokey, that's enough. Thank you, Faith. We love you. I love that song. God is right here. I just love it because God is always with us. So this particular talk was inspired by a t-shirt that Jan Coulter, one of my past practitioners who has since left this earth, she had this t-shirt from Iyanla Vanzant that said, "Don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle." So every time I get discouraged, I picture her in this t-shirt. And it'll probably be my inspiration the rest of my life, because we all kind of struggle with the idea that we need to keep focused on that miracle is happening. We just haven't seen it yet. So it probably will be with me the rest of my life, that t-shirt, that picture of that t-shirt in my mind. But there's a lot of stories out there about people who persevered no matter what things look like, and they're very inspirational. And one of my favorites is a movie called The Rookie, and it's actually a true story about Jim Morris, who was a high school baseball star who threw out his shoulder, and so he was unable to play baseball after that. And he became a coach for a high school, and he taught chemistry. And he was giving his team a pep talk as the coach, and he starts telling them that dreams are what life is about, and you owe it to yourself to follow your dreams. So they make a deal with him. Okay, coach, if we win the playoffs, that means that you have to try out for the minors. And he's like, yeah, okay, thinking, of course, that they will never make it. He really didn't have any belief in them, but a deal's a deal, right? So they won. And it inspired them so much that they won the playoffs, and he knew that he had to go through with the deal. So he auditions for the minors and he gets in, and he spends his season out there playing ball. And he's out there, 3 or 4 or 5 months, whatever. And he, while he was a chemistry teacher and a coach, he was making really good money. And he's out there in the minors and he's making $600 a month. And he starts to think to himself, man, is this even worth it? So he says to his agent, you really think this is really going to happen? I mean, do you think I'm really going to get into the majors at all? And the agent says, I don't really know what to say to you about that. I can't predict the future. I don't know what's going to happen. So he says, well, I think I'm going to go home. His agent says, you only have 2 weeks left, stay the 2 weeks. You never know what can happen in those 2 weeks. And he says, no, I think I want to be with my family. I miss my family. I miss my wife. I miss my kids. And I just don't want to do this. So he calls his wife and he says, I'm coming home. And she says, I don't think you want to do that. And he said, well, yeah, I do. She says, you only have 2 weeks left. Just stay and finish it out. He said, no, I miss you guys. I want to come home. I'm done. I'm only making $600 a month. I don't think I'm really going anywhere with this. And I'm thinking I just want to come on home. And she said, fine. As long as you come home for the right reasons. But don't come home because you're giving up. Come home because you really want to be here. But please don't come back just because you're giving up. So he goes to this baseball park and he's watching these kids play baseball. And he realizes that he made a promise to the kids that he coached. And he felt like if he went home at that point, he was letting them down. So he decided, okay, I'll stay for those 2 weeks. It's not that big of a deal. I can make it 2 more weeks. I've been gone 4 or 5, 6 months. There was a scout from the majors at the very next game of the minors, and he played the best game of his life. And he got into the majors that day. Now, if he had gone home, but when he said he was going to, if he had given up, he would not be in the majors. And he went on to have a very successful career with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. I don't know if you're familiar with that story, Oz. He's normally in Florida and in the Tampa Bay area. Now, how many times have you given up on something 5 minutes before that miracle happened? You probably don't know how many times that's been, because the miracle doesn't happen if you're not there to witness it, right? So we give up, we move on, and we never know what could have been accomplished. And so you might say, oh, that's just a way of keeping hope alive. And we get tired, don't we? I know I do. I've seen miracles happen just about the time we can't take it anymore. It's amazing. Mostly I see that with other people because, if I'm not present when the miracle would have happened, then I don't see my own miracles. The idea is to visualize, affirm, do spiritual mind treatment, meditate, journal until it manifests, no matter what it looks like. We get real attached to what the outcome looks like. And sometimes we get so attached to that we won't let other avenues happen for us. And so we work on that feeling of attachment. We work on that idea that, we know that it will happen and we don't want to try to force it. Dr. Ernest Holmes, our founder, said, Even when it doesn't look like it's working, it's working. So we work on our belief systems and we replace negative beliefs with positive ones, and we keep the vision in place no matter what. And getting back to what Jim Morris said to his kids when he was coaching, dreams are what life's about, and you owe it to yourself to follow your dreams. I'm not talking about daydreams. I'm not talking about wouldn't it be nice if? I'm not talking about those kind of dreams. I'm talking about fire in the belly dreams. Like, this is what I want to do in my life, right? When you have that urge within you, that is God within you seeing a greater purpose for your life. And when you are willing to pay attention to that, the urge within you will create the life that you want to have. So I did a series once about creating the life we want, creating with our mind and affirming with our heart, making sure our heart and our mind were in absolute alignment with the life we're pursuing. So what your heart is longing for you to do is the kind of dreams we're talking about. And those are the dreams that life is all about. And we owe it to ourselves to follow those dreams. Now, that doesn't mean you run out and make things happen or come true. It's about allowing, not forcing the miracle. I don't know about you, but I took a personality test one time and I came up as a strong driver. And what that means is that I push. I get out there and I want to make things happen. By God, I'm going to make it happen if, no matter what. And I've had to really learn about that. What we do is set the intention, do the work with affirmations and prayer, and sit in meditation until we're inspired to act on our dreams. See, you're usually given the right thing to do at the right time to do it if you're following that. And it's amazing if we allow ourselves to follow our intuition in that moment instead of running around like crazy people trying to make the dream come true. Now, that's a lesson I had to learn, which means that, I'm out there. I really want to make it happen. Trying to make it all happen. And this dear friend of mine, Marie Gay, who was a practitioner at Mile High Church, had an inspiration for her memorial. And she had these little angel cards that she planned her own memorial. And she had them put these affirmation cards, these little cards, these, I don't know, inspiration cards, I guess you would call them, in a basket at the back of the church. And you would go, and they were angel cards is what they were. You've seen those little angel cards. They have like little itty bitty angel cards with a word on them. And so I get up. Her last wish was that we each take an angel card and follow whatever that angel card told us, right? And so I get up and I take one of the angel cards and it says allow. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I allow things to happen all the time. And I really had to think about it for a minute, because the truth is I didn't always allow things to happen. I was in there shaking and moving and shaking and making things happen, right? I'm driving to make them happen. And so the whole thing was a lesson for me, because the second part of her last wish was that we take those angel cards and follow whatever it said. So I sat in meditation, and I really had to sit in meditation for quite a while until I could really understand what allow meant. Allow means that I'm not attached to how it happens or when it happens. I'm not out there trying to make it happen. Allow means I set the goal. I know what I want. I know that urge within me, that inner presence of God, that what God wants me to do. I know what that is. And all I need to do is keep my mind focused on that vision, get rid of any limiting beliefs that are keeping me from that vision, and stay present in the moment. You see, we get lost in the things, they say the past is gone and the future has not happened, but the present is a gift. And what's really true about that is, we get lost in things that have happened to us in our past. Is there anybody out there that has not had one bad thing happen to them in their past? I mean, all of us have had bad things happen in our lives, and all of us have been through it. And, I don't usually talk much about my history, but it's appropriate today. So I'm going to talk about that. When I was 18, I was raped in the parking lot of my apartment building. And it was an interesting thing, because I disobeyed my intuition. How many of us have ever done that? I pulled up the car, and this silver GTO that I just barely registered, that I had stopped for donuts that night, and at the Winchell's right by my apartment. And this car pulls into the parking lot, and it's a silver GTO. And I had a vague memory of seeing that same silver GTO at the donut place. Pulls into the parking lot, shuts off his lights, and parks all at the same time. It was like, boom. And something in me said, don't get out of the car. But I did. Okay, so I disobeyed my intuition. And sure enough, he pushed me back into my car and raped me. And so I spent 10 years being afraid of being outside anywhere. I was afraid to be in my own backyard. I was afraid to be in my own front yard. I was afraid of being anywhere outside. For the first couple of like 6, 7, 8 weeks, I walked around. I had this little pistol that a friend of mine loaned me, and I would come around those corners and, like Charlie's Angels or something like that. Excuse me. But it stuck with me for 10 years. And one night, of all things, I was out of cigarettes. Lynn and I only had one car, and it was a huge snowstorm. And I had this male Malamute, Alaska Malamute, big guy. And I thought, I'm safe with him. So I walked down to the gas station, got my cigarettes, and came home. And I sat on the couch for the longest time thinking, wow, I went outside and I made it and I'm okay. And that was the beginning of my healing from it. Not that it still affects me, but not the same way. I'm not afraid of my environment anymore. I feel safe in my own backyard and my own front yard. I'm careful. I'm still careful, but I feel safe. And that's the important thing. But then when I was about 21, 22 years old, I was beat up and left for dead in a Hollywood parking lot of a bar. And the interesting thing about all of that stuff is that I can't say that I'm glad it happened, but what I can say is that life has provided me things for me to heal through so that I can be the strong person I am. I always say that everything that's ever happened to me in my life has groomed me for who I am today. Because you have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and move on. You can't just live life being, afraid all the time. So anyway, excuse me, Dr. Ernest Holmes, our founder, said the past has no precedence over principle, meaning that no matter what's happened to you in the past, no matter what you've been through, no matter what has transpired in your life, today, this present moment is the only thing that matters. The past has no power over you unless you let it, unless you are willing to be a victim of your past. And I'm not willing to do that anymore. I did that for 10 years and it wasn't pretty. And I don't think any of you are either, but you have to learn to let go of it. You see, holding on to the past is a little like having this baggage that you're holding on to and trying to jump from one cliff to another. If you hold on to that baggage, you're just going to slam right down in between those two cliffs and die. But, if you let go of the baggage, you have a chance of making it from one cliff to the other. And I don't know about you, but I would much rather let go of that baggage and have a chance of getting to the other side, right? And so I think it's very, very important that we stay present in the moment and not let the past influence us so much that we don't move forward in our life, that we don't take chances that we need to take to be able to build the life that we always want. I have to laugh. There was this reality show a long, long time ago where Vanilla Ice, Tammy Faye Baker, and Ron Jeremy were all in the same house. And imagine a scene where a rapper, so Vanilla Ice is a rapper, for those of you who don't know. Tammy Faye Baker was a evangelical pastor who got really famous because she wore a lot of heavy eye makeup, and every time she spoke, she'd cry and all the makeup would run down her face. And Ron Jeremy is the most famous porn star there is, right? I won't even talk about how he got famous. And so imagine a scene where this rapper, an evangelical Christian pastor, and a porn star sitting in the living room of the house. These conversations were out of this world. I got hooked. I don't watch reality programs. They make me crazy. But this one hooked me. Because the conversations were so funny. And Vanilla Ice had never seen Tammy Faye Bakker. He didn't even know who she was. And so they're at this house, and she goes out to do a speaking engagement, and he attends. And she starts to talk about unforgiveness. And she talks about forgiveness, about she talks about unforgiveness, but she's talking about forgiveness is about letting go of the past, not about giving the other person a break. She says, back in the dark ages, if you murdered somebody, they would strap a corpse onto your back, and you had to carry that corpse around until it rotted off your back. And, and she said, unforgiveness is like a lot like carrying around that dead carcass on your back, rotting away and stinking and keeping you from being able to achieve your goals. And I liken that to holding on to the past, because when we hold on to the past, there's a stinking, rotting corpse sitting on our back, and it's causing us to not be able to do what it is that inner presence within us urging us forward to do. We can't live our vision if all we can think about is what has happened to us. I wouldn't be sitting here today if I hadn't let go of the rape and the getting beat up and all of that. Because we're living as a victim, and you can't get to being a victor if you're being stuck in being a victim. I've talked about that a couple of times when I do the attachment involvement sermon. And that's really about noticing that you're a victim as long as you're attached to your past and not involved in your present. And so the only way to get from the victim quadrant to the victor quadrant of that chart, which I'll talk about again sometime, there's no way to be a victor. And the way you manifest the life you want, the miracles you want, is by becoming the victor. So let's talk about that for a minute, because there are so many of us that live in the future. I don't know how many of you have done this. Most of my life I did this. I would be like, well, I'll be happy when I get this new house, or I'll be happy when I have this new job. I'll be happy when I have all this money. I'll be happy when you fill in the blanks. We all do it. I don't do it as much as I used to. I mean, yes, I'll be happier when those things occur. Of course, I'll be happier when I don't have to wear a mask. I mean, I'm one of those few people that will have to wear a mask as long as Lynn is alive. And so I always have to be conscious of my surroundings and not be in public as much as possible. Now, today I'm going to Vegas, but, I'm going to quarantine when I come back. Faith is going to pick me up at the airport on Friday, and I'm going to quarantine for 3 days and then take a test to make sure that I don't infect Lynn, because Lynn could die from a cold, let alone COVID. So yes, I will be happier when that is my reality. I will be happier, but I have to know that I'm happy right here and right now. As long as I'm putting off being happy until tomorrow will never, ever come. Unless I'm joyful today, unless I'm willing to sit in joy and happiness today, that day will never come. And so the day that everything is perfect, so I can be happy, is one of those dreams. Like today is the only day that matters, because if I focus on tomorrow becomes today, and then there's another tomorrow, right? And I can't focus on the past because the past is gone, and all it can do is keep me from my future. So then we just become happy and joyous in this moment, right? So no matter what it looks like on the outside, it doesn't really matter, because I know what I have faith in. What I absolutely trust is that God in me knows what I'm trying to do and is already saying yes. God always says yes. Always, always, always says yes. And so while we've been working on manifesting what it is we want in our life, God's answer has already been given. It's already yes, right? And so if it isn't happening, there's some things we have to look at. One is, concentrating on the past. If we have not forgiven people, situations, if we are holding on to anything from our past, if we're living in our future, I'll be happy when, then we can't make it to that manifestation. Another one is being attached. Now, you all know I've been talking about this, that my mantra lately has been I release control, because I've realized that all the pain that I'm experiencing in this present moment is about wanting to control situations. I don't really try to control other people. I just try to control the situations. And here I am, 23 years a minister, and I still find myself in that trap of believing that the control that I think I have, the illusion of control, is possible, and it's not. And so I am just unhappy and in pain and suffering because I won't let go of that illusion of control. We cannot control other people. We cannot control situations. Control is an illusion. And so if you go to the movies and sometimes how you see the backdrop of things that have happened in the past, that's really what it is. We've learned our lessons, we've taken that information, and we've done something with it. And now it's just sort of a backdrop. And the future is lying ahead of us, and now it's just sort of a backdrop also. All we need to know about the future is what we want to create. That's all we need to do, because we make the form like the cookie cutter, and God fills in the dough for us. And that's how religious science works. Remember Christmas cookies? I mean, you could have like a tree, or you could have an ornament, or you could have anything that you wanted. You just, put the cookie into the dough, and then you put it in the oven, and then it blows up and expands even bigger than what you believed it could. And so that's kind of what it's like. We are the cookie cutters, and the subjective mind is the dough. The stuff of the universe is the dough, and God is the oven. And it cooks those ideas, and it expands them greater than we could ever imagine. So in practical application, what we need to do is we vision or visualize. We uncover our negative belief systems that are keeping us from the vision by meditating. We pray. We journal about the wonderful vision we have, and that's what unlocks the insights into what beliefs we're operating, what limiting beliefs we're operating with. And we stay in the present moment by paying attention to details. Look around you. Notice every tree, every person, every car. Just keep yourself focused on the present moment. Listen to every sound around you, the buzzing of the bees, the birds chirping, the cars driving down the street, the howling of the neighbors that used to happen. That was a great one to key us in to being in that reality. One of my favorite things to do, come on, internet. It's showing low, so hopefully you'll get to hear all of this. One of my favorite things to do is to sit on my patio, my front patio, and just watch nature in my yard. Like, I love to listen to the birds. I love to listen to the squirrels even. My neighbors are always like, oh, we're overrun with squirrels. And I'm like, I'm enjoying them. They're playing. I like to watch them. I like to... I'm not a fan of bees being in my face. I have a deal with the king of the bees. They're not allowed in my face. But I do enjoy listening to the sounds of nature. And I sit on that patio and I just allow all of those sounds and sights to keep me in the present moment. And I usually meditate out there. And when I do that, it's amazing. I open my eyes and the trees are shimmering. Have you ever noticed the leaves on the trees shimmering? And I begin to hear the growth of the flowers. You're all going to think I'm crazy, but that's kind of what it is. Excuse me. Did you know that in the jungle, when bamboo grows, it makes this pop sound? And so at night in the jungle, you can actually hear the popping. And if you're in a bamboo forest, you're like, pop, 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 pop. But I think we can hear that anyway. I mean, I think we can hear nature being what it is. And I never give up, because I do know that, I don't want to give up 5 minutes before the miracle. For example, back in 2008, for those of you who've been around all these years, back in 2008, I got this stick that I planted. It's a Royal Empress tree. And of course, it has big purple flowers. Well, they're little purple flowers in a big bunch, and they make big purple flowers. So I was attracted to it for that. It's a plant that comes from China. And in China, when a little girl is born to the family, they plant this Royal Empress tree, and because it's a hardwood, and that becomes her hope chest. And when she gets married, that's her dowry. And so I don't know how much I really care about the history of it as much as, so they fertilize it. It's not supposed to be able to propagate here in the United States. That's one of the rules the United States has, because in China it grows like a weed. So I plant this thing. It's just a root ball with a stick in 2008. And I had read up on it, and in the South, it grows like 18 feet a year. They cut it down every year to the root ball, and every year it grows 18 feet. Now, I'm not stupid. I know that we're not in the South. I know that I'm not going to get 18 feet out of this tree, but I'm figuring 4 or 5 feet a year, right? And so I plant this thing, and every year it would die off, and every year we would cut it down. Hi, Kathy, Fred, and Marlene. Every year I would cut it down, and every year it would grow 4 or 5 feet. And the only time it ever flowered, I think, was like 2015 or 16, one of those years when I went to Florida. So I've never seen the flowers. I went to Florida, and my neighbor said, "Oh, your stick tree has flowers." And I'm like, oh my God. And of course they were gone by the time I got back. So I never have gotten to see it flower, but I won't give up hope on that thing. To this day, we cut it back every year. It grows every year. And I keep knowing that one of these days I'll be able to enjoy these flowers. And so, it's important for us to remember that, because again, if you're not around to witness the miracle, it's never going to happen. Your manifestation needs you to be present for it. And so, we really baby that tree. But one year, it had some substantial growth for about 3 years. And every year what happens is we knock on the main trunk and it's hollow. So we know it's dead. But every year this like bunches of babies grow underneath it. And one year I thought, okay, this is right around the time I think that Marie died and we had the memorial. And so I'm allowing this bush to be a bush instead of a tree. I was like, okay, you can be whatever you want to be. Just grow me some flowers, right? So I worked on allowing it instead of forcing it. Because before, we were babying that tree. We were watering it all the time. We were cutting, the branches back. We were doing everything we could to try and get this tree to do something. And so I decided that year I would just allow it to be a bush if that's what it wanted to be. Amazingly enough, this tree that was supposed to be sterilized grew another one in my garden at the far corner. Now I have 2 stick trees. Neither one of them have flowered. But I'm still not giving up hope, because I absolutely know that someday I will be able to enjoy those flowers. And that's what we need to do with our manifestations. The truth is that, so I've been listening to Abraham Hicks again. This lady, I can't think of her name now. Something Hicks. Anyway, she channels this non-physical entity called Abraham. And I've been listening to it for years. Back in 2008, a friend of mine loaned me all of the tapes, and I listened to every one of them. And I was listening again, and one of the things that I discovered recently was I knew that we were supposed to get ourselves into the vortex, but again, that driver in me was like, gotta get into the vortex, trying to force that all to happen. Drivers are interesting people. And so, excuse me. And so what I learned recently is it's about allowing, again, here's that lesson again. It's about staying in joy, like giving up control. And so that's been my mantra, because once you are in joy, once you are experiencing happiness and joy, you are in the vortex. And the trick is keeping yourself in the vortex by not allowing any negativity to come in and burst your bubble. So, and in order to do that, you have to release control because it's an illusion anyway. And we just get focused on it. And so my mantra has been through all of this stuff, through Duchess leaving, through my friend Marlene dying, through the puppy that wasn't real. I wanted a puppy and I was all attached to this puppy and there never was a puppy. But anyway, through all of that, I have just been going, I release control. I release control. I release control. I'm not 100%, but I'm working on it. And I feel like things are starting to cook for me now. Some of the manifestations I've been working on are starting to happen. And I recognize very fully that the allowing and the releasing of control are the two things that have gotten me there. But I want to tell you, when I wrote the meat of this sermon years ago, I was in the middle of learning the biggest lesson in my life of allowing. My dog, Chakwa, had developed bone cancer, and his life was going to be forever changed once we amputated his leg. And I had to learn to allow life to be different because it really was different. And it was funny. He was going out front to the bathroom because we have these really steep steps out back. And when you first take somebody's leg off a four-legged dog on the front, they have difficulty going up and down the stairs. Although he taught me a lesson about that too, because I went upstairs. I was doing laundry. I went upstairs, grabbed the laundry, came back downstairs, put the laundry in the washing machine. And all of a sudden I realized he's nowhere to be found. I look on the stairs and there he is going up and down the stairs to show me that he can do it. But during the first couple of months when we were trying to protect him, we were putting him out front to go to the bathroom. And there was this squirrel that used to taunt him all the time in the backyard, and he would bark at it and the squirrel would bark at him. And I thought they hated each other. I really did. And one day I'm sitting on the couch and this squirrel comes up to the sliding glass door and goes like this. And I realized that the squirrel was looking for Chakwa because they were buddies. They have this whole life. Animals have this whole life we know nothing about. And we got caught up in our own belief systems about what's going on. For instance, they used to believe that dogs couldn't get along. Now we have dog parks where people bring their dogs and they congregate and play. We've learned that. But, so much of the time we get locked into a belief and we try to control things through that belief. And I had to learn to allow him to have this other life and to allow him to be different than he was. So we don't know what's going to happen in the future, so we can't count on it. So all we can count on is this present moment. And so we experience every moment as a treasure. That's why we call it a gift. All right. So will you do that with me this week? Will you concentrate, do your visualization, do your journaling, do your affirmations, all of that, do your meditation. And focus on what it is that you really want in your life. That thing that is a fire in your belly for something in your life, because that is God speaking in you, through you, as you. And God knows a much bigger picture than we could ever imagine. So please do that with me this week. Also, make that your mantra. I release control. I release control. Forgive everyone from the past. Forgive all situations from the past. Don't be attached. And don't, I know I'm a driver. You can't tell somebody who's a driver not to be a driver. But really seriously, work on allowing everything to happen in its own time. I now am going to be having a perfect little dog that I don't think would have happened had I not gotten attached to this puppy and had that whole scam thing. But right now I have this dog that's coming to my house in July, and I'm really thankful that happened. So again, I say, wait for the perfect moment, because there is absolutely the perfect situation in your life. And all you need to do is allow, release control, and do your work. Work on your limiting beliefs, whatever comes up in your journaling or your meditations. Visualize, pray, meditate, affirmations. All of that will get you to your goal. That's how you manifest. Will you do that with me this week? Let's have a prayer. I forgot the most important point, so I'm going to say it right now. Experience every moment of your life as a treasure, and don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle. So in this moment, I turn my awareness to the infinite power, the infinite presence of God, to that place within me that knows beyond human understanding just how powerful God is. One love, one life, one power. Beautiful, abundant, awesome life. One life of God. And so that is where I find myself, in the midst of God, my very essence, my very life, my very being. It is who and what I am. And every thought, every action, every deed is guided and led by that ancient wisdom of the ages that lives within us. That is God working its way through us. I know that same truth to be so for each of the team members that God has provided me to make this a successful enterprise. I know it for Lynn, who watches the animals for me. For Faith, who does all this background stuff and sings. For Tina, who is our singer. For Oz, who is our practitioner of service every week. For Karen and for Elaine. Because I do know that that power, that presence, that life, that love, that prosperity, that abundance is working through each of us. It is what connects us. And it works perfectly through that ancient wisdom of the ages that flows through each one of us. So I know that same truth to be so for anyone who's watching this, whether that be in real time or later on, because we are connected by it, through it, as it. There's no place where one leaves off and the other begins. Mitakuye and all my brethren, we are all one. I celebrate that connection by knowing in this coming week we are blessed with an opportunity, or lots of opportunities, to allow our manifestations to come forth into physical reality. We are blessed this week with a knowingness of that eventuality, because we allow. We let go of anything that's happened in the past. We let go of control. We let go of anything that keeps us from that manifestation, and we celebrate the joy and the love and the prosperity and the abundance. We celebrate that in everything that we think, say, and do this coming week. I know that for every name that is in the ministry of prayer today, because I do know that whatever condition they are experiencing, God is much more powerful than that. And so I pull back the veil and reveal that truth in their lives. I call it good and very good, and I claim it for them in their name. So my heart fills with gratitude to let this be so. And so it is. Amen. Oh, my goodness. Bunny, what is the deal? I'm trying to do a meditation, and you have to be ringing that. It's not a bell. It's like a toy that has a bunch of moving metal parts. He gets up there and swings the thing while I'm praying. Whatever. I'm allowing him to just be. I'm allowing him to be a bird. All right. This is our opportunity to receive your gifts, tithes, and offerings, and your opportunity to express your gratitude for that which you have already seen in the physical realm, and for that which you have been manifesting and may not have already seen in the physical realm yet. So in a minute, I'm going to ask you to go to www.oasiscsl.org. And I'm going to ask you to do the offering affirmation, which is about 2/3 down the page. It doesn't matter whether you're viewing this in real time or you're viewing it later, you can still participate with us. And at the end of the affirmation is a Contribute Now button. So let me say just a little bit about contributions. what you're making contributions to is this message getting out into the world, because I really want to uplift and inspire people everywhere. And we do that one person at a time as they join our service. And so you're not contributing to facility rent or utilities or salaries or anything like that. What you're contributing to is our ability to reach out and touch those people that are all over the world. Right now we have people from England, well, Great Britain, they won. Great Britain, Holland, we've had some from Malaysia. It's really awesome how we reach out and touch people out in this global world. And so that is what we strive for, because I want to reach out and touch everybody, not just out there, but also in this country as well. But what you're contributing to is the marketing that it takes to reach those people. So go now, whether you're watching this in real time or later on, go to www.oasiscsl.org. And about 2/3 down the page, please say this offering affirmation with me. This perfect gift is spirit and form, circulating and blessing all it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive. And so it is. Hit that contribute now button and make a difference in the world. All right, we have this wonderful team of licensed practitioners from coast to coast that are available for spiritual guidance. And so they are also the people who will be praying on those requests. We call them the God Squad. We have a special team of God Squad that all they do is they get these prayer requests and pray on them every day for a week. So definitely take advantage of this by typing in the comment section what you need prayer for. And if you don't want it to be public, you can message Faith or myself. We have this private facing group page. God, he's driving me crazy. I can't think. Buddy, can you please not for just a minute? Hey, we have this private Facebook page where we list all of the prayer requests, and the people on the God Squad take those requests and pray on them every day for a week. So type that in the comment section or direct message Faith or myself. And if you would like to be part of the God Squad, you don't necessarily have to be a licensed practitioner, as long as you are willing to do affirmative prayer, which is our spiritual mind treatment that we do. Not beseeching, not asking, but stating the truth. And you do that every day for a week, and you follow through with that, and you keep those prayer requests confidential. I wish Buddy would go sit with Lynn. Oh, goodness. Anyway, if you would like to participate in the God Squad and you're willing to abide by those rules, type yes in the comment section and Faith will add you to that page. And then if you would like to have more information about what we do, you can type more and become part of our online community. We announce everything there before we announce it to the world. So you would get the first news about anything that we're doing in our center. Just type more in that comment section and Faith will add you to our public facing group page, which is our online community. All right, let's see. Our licensed practitioners are available by appointment for a fee for spiritual guidance. What you do is you video or look them up on our website or through Facebook, get a sense of who they are so you can figure out which practitioner you'd like to go to, and reach out to them and let them know that you would like to private message them or whatever. Let them know that you would like to do a spiritual guidance session, and they'll make an appointment with you. They'll arrange for payment either by Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, or Wise. I leave that up to the practitioner themselves for how they want to charge for that. And then at your appointed time, they'll reach out by video chat. At the end of this service, Oz will be available for what we call our 1-minute miracle. It's not a time for the spiritual guidance or counseling. It is a time where you can tell him whatever condition you're experiencing, and he will stop, drop, and pray with you right then and there. So take advantage of these loving services that all of our practitioners provide. Please note that if you reach out to him by video chat and he doesn't answer right away, he's probably on the phone with someone else. And so call back a little bit later. All right. All right. Bracelets and mala beads from I got to get back to that page here. Brooks and Bailey. Here we go. And all of the proceeds go to Rocky Mountain Lab Rescue. You can contact them through Brooks and Bailey 0307 at Gmail. They also have a Facebook page. Look them up. They have awesome mala beads. These are, I requested them in amethyst, so they're like $60. But they have other ones that are like $30, $35, very affordable. The reason mala beads are so good is because in the Buddhist tradition and the Hindu tradition, they use them for their mantras. They count the beads, one mantra, one bead. I suggest you use them for affirmations. There's 104 beads on a mala necklace and 52, I believe, on the bracelet. And so I always say do 100 affirmations a day. It's a great way to count them off. So anyway, they have bracelets that have the latch is a circle with a little bar through it. And I've had mine like 2 years and it's only fallen off once. And that's only because I didn't get it through all the way. Excuse me. And I lose bracelets like crazy. I lost a diamond watch in Vegas one time because it slipped off my wrist. So I found it, by the way. Like it was in the lost and found. Somebody turned it in. But their closure is perfect. So definitely buy something from them. We like to support those that support us. So go to their website. All right. Faith.
And please go check out the Mystic Brew. We have intention jars and bath salts to help you work on whatever you are trying to manifest using herbs to help attract that energy. We also have kits where you can build them yourself. You can order through our website, www.themysticbrew.com, and make sure to follow us on all of our social media for any upcoming events or deals that might be happening in the future.
Okay. This is one of the intention jars she made me for prosperity. I love to play with it while I'm doing my intention work. And then we have Angel Renee, who has intention candles and these little tea bags that you put into your bath to help you focus on your intention. So she has an Etsy store, so check her out. Faith has put that in the comments so that you know how to reach her. All right. Also, go to Reverend Fairy Elaine Silver's website. Again, we like to support those who support us. We couldn't do music if it wasn't for Elaine and Karen. So go to her website. Her website, she can't update it for some reason. So you have to contact her by email. She travels all over the country singing, and she has all of her CDs in her trunk of her car. But all of her CDs are good. If you liked the music that you heard today, I suggest you go get that. What do we know what album that was on? What CD that's on?
I am not sure.
Okay. But you can search on her website for that song and it'll tell you what CD. Anyway, then you email her. She figures out a way for you to pay for it and she sends them to you. She's really good at that. So, and also go to Karen Drucker's website. Hers does work. You can buy a song, you can buy a CD, you can buy a songbook. Some of the songs actually even have American Sign Language in them, in case you're interested in learning how to sign a song. But her website does work, so you can purchase it right then and there. So we love to support them. Definitely go buy something from either one of them or both of them. Do both of them. I'd be happy. And check out our website at www.oasiscsl.org. You can see pictures there of our events that we've had, so you get to know our people in the church. You can also see my ordination, Lynn's ordination, and I have video sermons for the last 2 years that are there. We have audio sermons from the years prior. Check us out on YouTube and SoundCloud under S. Tucker. The YouTube has the videos and SoundCloud has the audio. So check all that out. And we will move on to our closing song now. If I can get to that. There we go. Again, if you know the words, sing it loud and sing it proud. If you don't, learn these words. It's a great meme to get stuck in your head because it blesses your life.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
And I know that in this moment, right here, right now, that God is present in me, as me, and in each and every one of you. And I know that we carry that through the week, and with expectation that God will produce miracles in our lives. I say, do not give up 5 minutes before, but wait for the timing of God. For God has a perfect plan and knows us inside and out, for it is inside us and out. And knowing the miracles that are coming, I give great thanks, and I let it be so. And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Oz. All right. Next weekend is Memorial Day. I know there's 1,000 things you could be doing, but we hope you'll be here with us 10:30 a.m. on Mountain Time every Sunday. We hope if you can't be here next weekend that you're here every other Sunday. We would love to have you with us. I am going to go on vacation for a week, and I will see you back here next weekend. So I love you. We love you. Wear a mask, stay safe, and see you then. Bye.